Hi guys, I want to show you how to draw a wave. It looks like this is the picture that we're going to be drawing. And when it's all colored in, it'll kind of look like something behind me. That's one that I painted. And this is one that I colored. So something like that. It's easier than it may or may not look. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this so I can get my crayon. Okay, so the first thing you're going to start with is something that's going to kind of look like a stretched out Z. If I took the letter Z and I pulled it apart, it would kind of look like this. So a stretched out letter Z. Once you have that stretched out letter Z, I am going to keep going with those lines. So all the way to the end of the paper and all the way to the end of the paper. So a nice long kind of stretched out Z. The next step is where that has dipped down over here. I'm going to go to that top kind of curve. I'm going to draw a line from there all the way across to the end of the paper. If it's kind of straight, it's okay. If it's not straight, it doesn't have to be. When it has a little bit of curve, I think it kind of makes it look like a little bit more round, the way that a wave is when it curls over. But if it's kind of straight, that's all right too. The nice thing about this is waves in the ocean is kind of always moving, and it never quite looks the same, or it's rarely just super, super clean. So it's okay if like lines aren't completely straight and things aren't exactly how I'm drawing them, because you're still going to have something that looks like a wave. The next part is I am going to draw little dots from this bottom curve all the way to the end of the paper. So I'm going to draw a line across, but not by drawing a line. I'm going to do little dots just so that it's faint. Because for this, I don't want to have like a very solid line, because this, I want it to look like the water is coming up and curling over to make the wave. So the next step is making letter C's from here, going this direction, just like a C, and that turns into the barrel of the wave. If making letter C's gives you anxiety, or you're afraid that they're just not going to be very perfect, another way to get around it is you can even use something that's kind of round to trace. And it just so happens that this glue stick is about that size, so I can do that. And then I have a little bit rounder C's, but it doesn't have to be totally perfect. You just want some kind of round C's. Now that you have the barrel of the wave and the lip that curled over, I'm going to add some, like a little bit of white water. So once the wave curls over, it starts to turn white and kind of froth. It's like, we call that the white water, right? So that's the lip of the wave here. We're going to add just some bumpy lines on top of it. Just kind of swirly, whatever. And I kind of bring it over here too to make it look like the wave is really coming over and just like peeling. And sometimes if there's like an offshore wind, you'll actually have like a little bit of water spraying off the wave. And so sometimes I'll just even add a little bit. You don't have to do that. You can. It doesn't matter. It just kind of reminds me of like mornings where there's like an offshore wind and the water is spraying off the wave from the wind. Okay, so now that we have the white water and kind of like the lip of the wave, the barrel of the wave, the curl, underneath, I'm just going to draw some lines across. They don't have to be very perfect. I'm just adding a couple lines to make it look like the ocean water is kind of, stirring up and turning into a wave. And I'm just going to add a couple lines across. just like that. They're not very straight. They're not super wavy. It just kind of gives a facade that that's the ocean kind of stirring up. It'll give me an outline of different colors to use and where to break up my different colors to kind of make it look like the ocean. Kind of fun. And last, I'm going to make a sun. In the sun, I could use another round object. To me, I don't think that that's really as big as I want my sun to be. I'm going to find another round object. I like this one's kind of big. I think that's a good size. You can see it. I'm going to use it to trace. It's not necessary, but it can be helpful to make this one. And then some rays. Like so. Something like that to make it look like the sunrise. You could, even if you wanted to, add some details in the background, like birds that look like letter M's flying around. Whatever is clever. In the end, when I color this, what I like to do is choose 2 different shades of blue. So, generally I'll do one that's darker and then one that's lighter. Or maybe one that's greener or tealer, and then one that's, just 2 different shades of blue. This one is called blue green. And the ocean often looks green so much that we often call the barrel the green room. So I'll use this blue green, and then I surfed this morning and the ocean really looked like a dark blue, so this one's called Pacific blue, so how fitting. So I'm going to use these 2 different shades of blue to color it in. And what I do is I kind of break it up. So I'm going to use this Pacific blue to color that big part of the wave. I'm not going to color in this section here because that would be that white water, the crumble from the wave. But I'm going to color in this whole top part, that curl. This would be a really nice right. If I was a really good art instructor or something, maybe I could teach you guys how to draw a little surfer in the barrel there. But I think for today, this is pretty good. This would be a rip and write that I would want to surf, for sure. I always draw rights because I love rights. They're my favorites because I'm a regular fitter. Okay, so I would color, wow, that's not very good coloring. Let me color a little bit more. So I'm coloring the top part one color. And then every other section I'm going to color that other shade of blue. So this was the Pacific blue, and this one is called blue green. So I don't know. It actually doesn't look very different to me. It is a different shade. Well, I'm going to stick with it. Blue green. This is a different shade, but you could even go more drastic too. Like in this one is a pretty much more drastic shade of blue. Maybe this one would actually be a little bit brighter. This is a very similar color. I like to skip them, so I did that. And then this one. And do like every other one just to kind of give it some depth. So I've got that blue-green color. And then I'm going to go back with my Pacific blue, darker blue, and color in the other sections of the wave. So hopefully you can see they're a little bit different shades of blue. And it doesn't have to be done this way, like it really doesn't. I've seen students do lots of different things. A student of mine made his wave more green recently with me, and I thought it looked really great. color this a little bit more since I colored the inside of the wave. Some more coloring, some blue. I'll try to make it quick. Maybe you're coloring with me, or you can just zoom ahead a little bit. So that's kind of what the wave looks like. And then I kept this section here white so that it looks like that white water of the wave. Like the foam coming off the top and a little bit of spray. Like an offshore wind early in the morning dawn patrol. Ta-da! Okay. So what I like to do with these colors is color in this space down here. And I do the same thing. So I'll start with this specific blue. I'll just start on top. But you could start with the lighter blue or the other shade of blue that you used. In each one of these sections, I just color in that section. And that's really what those lines are for. And it just kind of gives the illusion that the ocean's moving. The water is kind of moving around because it's always, you know, different shades of blue, blue-green, or even recently we had that red tide. But the ocean definitely didn't look very pretty when it was red tide. But if you really wanted to make a red tide wave, you could. Some of the waves we had during this last red tide madness was pretty good swell. So I'm going to skip this section, and I'm just doing every other section. Da-da-da-da-da. Can't wait to see your coloring and examples. Hopefully you'll post for me after this. And, whoops, that's not the Pacific blue that I used already. I'd be adding a third shade of blue, which I guess would be okay, but I'm going to stick with the two that I have. One of the reasons why I like to keep the two consistent from the water down here to the wave is because then it, you know, it looks like this is the ocean and the water is coming up and making a wave. Something that I'll do sometimes is add some brown on the bottom to make it look like sand. So I've done that a couple times. You don't have to do that. You could keep coloring it in blue or not. Like my painting behind me, I didn't do that there, and I actually had a lot of green on that one. Like so. And then the sun is just orange and yellow. I'll make this one orange. Sometimes I'll have students put some purple in the rays, or I'll have just yellow or just orange, and there's a lot of versions of this that you can make. Everyone's will look a little bit different. So I added some orange, and now I'm going to do some yellow. Something like that. So switching the colors makes it kind of fun. Yeah, so I can't wait to see what some of you do. This is one way. This is another way of coloring it. Before I colored this one, I drew this one in pencil. Then I outlined everything in marker, so the lines are a little bit darker. So just gives you two ideas. Two examples, and yours could even look a little bit different from this, and that would be totally okay. Maybe you'll even choose to draw yours on a canvas and paint it like mine in the background here. Anybody who watched this for this week's OT lesson, thank you very much. I hope to see some pictures of your examples of what you did. Post it on the website, and I miss everyone. Wash your hands. Stay safe.